Well, greetings again, it's another week. Welcome back. Making huge progress here at the moment. It's just more fiberglass work. Oh. So this is the next problem I need to face. When the top cowl is placed on top of the bottom cowl, you can see how this is pressing out here. If we look inside, if I can get this around far enough, you can see here that the lip is actually making contact with the top cowl. Back outside again, it's pressing this out. So when you put that cowl fastener in, it ends up like that, with this piece here popped out and this piece here popped out. So basically the flange that's inside on the bottom cowl sticks out on too much of an angle and it's pushing all this out. So I've got to take this top cowl off, cut the flange off between here and about here, and lay it up again so it doesn't do this. I've actually got the problem a little bit on this door as well. You can see the same thing. If I push it down so it closes, it's stopping right there on the flange. And then when you push the two cowl fasteners in, it leaves this centre piece here bubbling out, and this end and this end. So I'll probably do this as well, just depending on how much time I've got. If I run out of time, I won't do it. But this bit here really annoys me, so that's coming off, and that's the next bit of fiberglass work. The upside of doing these bits is I haven't got to worry about the surface of it, so there's no filling and sanding at least, which is a real pest. So here it is all taped up, and inside here, if we can get you in there, past there it is, all laid up and just needs to dry. So that was fun working in that little space, but anyway. So here we go a bit further down the line after having completed changing the lip inside. That all sits a lot better here now, and also one of the advantages of making it slightly thicker is it pulls the camlocks in flush. So I'm just going to add a little bit more material in behind this one as well, just to pull that camlock in a bit further, and I also need a little bit more here. Looking on this side, this bit here is pretty much done, just a little bit more filling in here and a little bit more sanding. I just got kind of a marker coat there of that filler primer. I've got some more filling to do down here with this vent. Looking at the top here, you can see that it doesn't point at the actuator for the wastegate anymore, but you can see it doesn't line up particularly well with the air cleaner. So that housing that the air cleaner sits in is going to be modified. I'm going to get that to line up a little bit better. We really want the engine to breathe well, so once I modify that, it should be okay. I think that that's a Rotax part. It's just that when they've done the cowl, they haven't really considered it particularly well, so I'll modify that. But since my main concern is getting the airplane ready for paint, I can do that air cleaner thing a little bit later on. It's not really a big concern, so that can wait just for now. Another thing I've done is got the skin ready to install for the parachute access cover. Since Sling have stitched up with the deal with BRS won't deal with you. If you look on their website, they've got no mention of any aeroplane. You need to go to the manufacturer. So we're just sick of dealing with Sling. They've been dreadful, so we're not going to bother with the parachute. So this is going to close up. But with that said, we still need the composite block to go on here, because they can still give us what they owe us, even though it was over a year ago that we purchased it. Here's the modified NACA duct for the intercooler. That follows a smoother path now, and there's no cutouts or anything to create disturbance. So I think they'll actually flow at least as good as it would have in the past, even though it is a little bit narrower, but it's still a fairly smooth thing. I do need to do still a bit more filling and sanding here on the inside, and then that'll get painted when it goes to the shop, but it is starting to look a little bit better now. I have to say I'm not a huge fan of the way that the intercooler sort of mounts in here, and then there's only sort of like 100 to 150 millimeters before it just exits hot air onto the fuel system down here and also onto the firewall. It doesn't really have a clean flow of air out. I know everybody else's slings like that, so that's just the way it is, but if I was designing it, I think I would have tried to come up with something out here so it could exit the hot air from the intercooler here, but I don't have time for that, so we'll just keep marching on. So another little job I'd been putting off for a long time was this torque tube here for the elevator. Was done by Sling as part of the quick build, and it was binding up. It was terrible actually, so the whole mechanism as a result was terrible. So I finally got around to removing it and repairing the bushes on the end, so now it moves very freely. It's lovely actually, and the whole mechanism is a pleasure to use now. There's only one issue I've got, and in the very back there you can just see a black Cleco. I have got nothing that I can get a rivet into there with. I can't get into that small space, so I think I'll be changing that to a screw and a nut, maybe drill it out for an AN3 bolt and a lock nut. On the other excitement front, we now have the fin back wrapped in brown paper, and up the top there is the stab. So once I've finished fluffing around with the cowling, which isn't too much further off, I'll be fitting the tail. Well, there's another big hour mark, 700 hours, and it's starting to look a bit aeroplane-y with, well, I've still got a lot of bolts to put in there yet, but it looks pretty fancy, and I had to tie it up for 700 hours tonight. Meanwhile, back in the jungle, this thing here didn't fit great. So what I've been doing is, to help get it to fit, is slicing along here using a bit of heat and then persuading it back to where I want to go. I haven't done this one yet. I've done it at the top where it was way too wide. At the moment I've got one in here. You can see the cut going through there with some fiberglass tape in behind. It's drying at the moment, and same on the other side. So once I've done that, this one here and the same on the other side, I'll laminate that up, and then what I'm going to do is get rid of this unsightly gap around here due to the rivnuts spacing it out from the fuselage. So I'm going to fill that in probably with flocks just to give it a bit more strength, and then I can shape this so it should look a lot nicer. It's not miles out, to be fair, just does need a little bit of work. What I am going to do though is cut down this line here on both sides, make this a separate piece, but I'm going to have a lip underneath. So the screw also anchors this piece. It'll mean a little bit of work around here just to stop the gap. The reason why I'm doing that is because in behind here is the ELT antenna, mounts in about here and goes straight up. Now I don't know how Sling does it exactly, but it looks complicated, and I don't know quite how they get the fairing on when the ELT antenna is there. I would assume that it goes on later, or somehow it certainly couldn't slip in. But I'm actually, rather than mounting it on a bracket, I'm actually going to mount mine on the fuselage and put a small hole here for the rest of the antenna to come through. So in order to get it to fit on easier with this fairing, because you won't be able to slide it on so easily. I mean, you could do it, but you'd be bending the antenna a lot. So what I'm going to do instead is cut it here, make two separate pieces. So this top piece will just be able to plop straight down. It'll help its alignment as well. It'll save the antenna a lot. It should just make getting that off and on a lot easier at annual inspections, or however many times you want to take it off, I guess. Another couple of things here. I noticed these two rivnuts here, one there and one there on both sides, they were missing. They'd just been riveted in the factory for the quick build, so I drilled them out, put a couple of rivnuts in, because in order to get that to fit, there's obviously, you can see where the holes are supposed to be, the smaller ones. So there was obviously supposed to be a rivnut there and there on both sides, and there's one there already. So in order to get this fairing to fit, I had to fit those. Just a minor oversight in factory. 714 hours, and it's just fiberglass up to my neck. I seem to be breaking the record for making the messiest workshop in the world. And so what am I doing at the moment? Well, I'm working on this bit here, where's my finger gone? So I'm working on this bit here, the fairing. Here I've got this gluing up just to reduce the gap along here, so I'm actually using flocks here. Apart from the sellotape on the on the airframe to stop it sticking. I've also had to fill the holes of the rivnuts with Vaseline and also the screws. So that is a little bit nerve-wracking, hoping they don't stick. So I'm gonna have to come back here before it's completely dry and pull the screws out, and hopefully it'll just stay stuck to the sellotape enough just to harden up. So yeah, fingers crossed for that one. Hopefully that should work out though. And as I said, I've cut this along here and made a lip. I've just got to trim it, that sits in under there, so that screw will hold in through here. One of my concerns about this is that if I don't have it held on there enough, there is a risk that that could come off, and the last place I need it to go is jam in the elevator. So I need to make sure that this piece here is going to be well attached to the airframe, and that's one of the reasons for that lip to sit in under there, so that screw will help hold the leading edge. And I'll have another one fairly early on in the affair here into the stabilizer. NACA inlet here is pretty much all done now. I've got it all filled and sanded. Well, sanded as much as I'm going to do anyway. The painters can do the rest. And then we're up to this thing here. I think this is a stupid idea. They've moved it from what seemed to be a relatively good position up to here. And I mean, this NACA inlet, once you actually get round to this piece here, it's pretty blunt on, so it's not really doing a whole lot. They would have been better off with just like cutting it off here and make it more of a ram inlet. And then of course you have the other side of these Camlock fasteners that's blocking the inlet here as well. So I really don't see what they were trying to achieve by putting this on. It also makes it nearly impossible to get to that hose clamp in there that's going to be holding the scat onto the air inlet. So yeah, I don't think that's a great idea, but anyway, that's what they've done and that's what we're sticking with at this point. Side here, I've got the stick attached there. I was just seeing how that was going to go. I'm going to take it back out because it's in the way. These seats are about to come out because they're going to the upholstery place. He's going to modify it slightly. So they're coming out. They're in the way anyway. I need to do a little bit of sanding up the top here, just from a little bit of filler I put in here. Otherwise, the inside's pretty much all ready for painting. We've got a bit of a surprise going on with that. Over here, I had this was interfering with the mechanism in behind it. So what I'd done here in order to make that not foul from in behind is I cut like a U shape here so I could bend it out a bit, and then the rest of it I just had a little bit of foam in behind that I could shape and put in the hole, and then I just went over the top with fiberglass. It probably wasn't the most efficient way of doing it, but it worked, and then just cleaned out the inside of it. It just meant that tidying up the top of it ready for paint was a lot more hassle than I could have done it otherwise. But anyway, that's the way I did it. You can also notice there that this hook is on the wrong side of the catch, and that's because there's no foam up here, and so the whole canopy is sort of falling down quite a bit. So I may have to bend it a bit, I don't know. It just depends how the foam works out after this thing's been painted. We've got the USB connectors into the panel now. I didn't bother wiring up the lights. I think that's more of a distraction than anything else, so that's just going to sit there like that. I think that's perfectly fine. You're going to have to come up with something here to cover this. It shouldn't be too difficult. There's a few holes there, and I can do something there and put a placard over it or something, because there's plenty of placards to go in here yet at any rate. Oh yeah, more boring fiberglass, unfortunately. I'm sorry for that. It's annoying me as much as anything else. It takes up a lot of time because in the morning I come in and I can do some work, lay out fiberglass or whatever, and then I've just got to leave it throughout the day to go off. So I can't really do much through the middle of the day, so I go and get lunch somewhere, and then in the afternoon I can do something, and then I leave that overnight to dry. So it's an ongoing process that's quite slow, which is actually really annoying. But anyway, we'll get there. I've only got 2 weeks to go, and then I've got to leave. So I've got to have all this done and wheeled out in 2 weeks, which I think I'll get there. But it's going to be a close run thing. There's some things inside that I would have really liked to have had sort of a little bit further along, but you know, it is what it is. Looking at the tail here, that'll have to come off in order to ship, and I have to anyway, because the fin will have to come off at any rate, because I've got to get the elevator on, and he can't do it with the fin on. So anyway, that was always the plan. A funny thing about that actually, so when the tail was shipped from the airport out to here, Harry had to go and get it, and of course, being 3 meters long, 2.8, he had to get a van to get it out here. So he rang up his normal transport supplier for the hostel that's here and asked him if he had a van, and he said, oh, I know a guy who's got one. I'll ask him. So he rang back and said, yep, he's all keen to go. When do you want to do it? So Harry says, well, now really, we're keen to pick it up straight away. And he goes, oh, okay, how many people? And he says, no people. We're just going out, and we're going out to the general aviation side of the airport to pick up some packages and then bring them back. And he gets a reply from the owner of the van, says, no, I don't want to do it because you'll be carting, this is a family show, let's say it shares its name with Coca-Cola without the cola. So yeah, then he had to explain that no, had nothing to do with that kind of thing. We're actually going to pick up something that was long. Anyway, put it back. I just kind of thought that was a bit crazy. This place can go a bit crazy at times. Anyhow, there'll only be a maximum of 2 more updates. So that's this one, short and sweet, hopefully. Sorry to bore you to tears with Fibreglass. I'm sick of it too, but anyway, there it is.